Welcome back to the garden here in East South Wales. Well, it's freezing cold today. It's not icy, but the wind chill is exceptional. But that hasn't stopped me. I've got my coffee and I got a few things to be getting on with, so let's get started. So I've been out and about today, just getting a few jobs done in the garden. It's quite cold. And one of the first jobs that I needed doing was this Soberia stem. I've moved it to this area. So the black beauty that I put here, I've now moved into one of the borders behind. And I put this here as I know that this is going to spread. And I just thought it'd be easier to look after in this area here. And it's already starting to come through with some lovely growth. And this is going to give a lovely fern-like look to the garden without it being a proper fern. And the hellebores underneath the palm trees in the centre of the garden, they're in full flower now, drooping downwards. What a beautiful looking flower on that. Just look at that. Lovely. And some more there, just tucked in the centre of the bed. And these are the hellebore tutus. Lovely colour on these. And I've also been out buying the grit ready for the new bed. And I've got 6 bags at the moment, so I don't know how far this will go. But it's a start, and when the weather gets a little bit better, I'm going to dig this into the earth. So we've also sourced some lovely rocks, ready to build the slightly raised bed, ready for the Yucca Rostrata. And these ones have come from an old stone wall that was being knocked down, and they said that I could have them. So absolutely wonderful. And it saves me paying 3 for £15 at the garden centre, which is what they're asking at the moment. And I think they are going to look absolutely wonderful when I've built them up. And this is the area here that I'm planning on building the structure. And hopefully I'll have enough space there in the centre just to build up some form of raised bed where I can plant the Yucca Rostrata. And I think that'll do quite well there in the centre with plenty of sunshine. When we went to Zoas this week, we also come back with this lovely bird box, which we're going to hang from the trees. And this is a tiki bird box. So it's got a little hole there for the birds to enter. And it's made out of an old log. It's quite heavy. And we've added some chain to it. And this is going to hang lovely in the tall trees at the bottom of the garden. So last week, if you remember, I planted lovely laurel behind my greenhouse. Well, I came out this morning to find that I made a bit of a rookie error. And that has been ripped up by the harsh winds that we've had. And my fault completely. I forgot to sort of tap it in with my foot. So I just roughly laid the soil around it and it wasn't stable. So one job to do today is to put that back in the ground. So 20 minutes later and a few frozen fingers and that laurel's back in the ground. So hopefully now this time, after a good pressing in, it'll stay where it's supposed to. It was definitely a blustery day today, but I'm so glad that some of these plants here are protected. And this Schefflera is looking really good. This has grown to quite a size now, considering it went in as a really small plant. And with a high wall behind it, it's really protected from the weather. And it's looking fine. Fantastic. And last week, if you remember, I moved the bamboo, and that's doing quite well. It's looking okay. I've been keeping it well watered. And just tucked behind that bamboo, you can see that there's a new little palm tree that I've added. And that is a cross between a Trachycarpus and a Nova. So I'm not sure how big that's going to grow, but again, that's in the centre of the garden. So it'll have plenty of sunshine there. And it has got a little bit of space. And the one new thing that I've got for keeping my ears warm in this weather is my new garden hat. It's made out of felt and it's absolutely amazing. I just love it. So I've done a little bit of planting now for today, and now it's time to go inside and warm up and have a nice cup of coffee. What a hat! So I'm up and about, and it's a much better day today than it was yesterday weather-wise. It's not as windy. So the stones turned up last night, and all I got to do now is to pop them around the back of the house because they've been left at the front. So it's going to be quite a job, and Tony did leave me a note saying do not move the stones. So what I'll do is I'll just move the lighter ones, and then when he comes home from work later on, he can give me a hand. So actually, looking at them, they're not that heavy, and I'll be able to move these no problem at all. So I've got those ones and a few here to move, and that should make quite a collection. Right, so let's get the gloves on, open the side gate and get started. They're not even heavy. They're all right. Job done. So the pile of rocks has definitely got bigger now, and hopefully there'll be enough there to be getting on with the structure. Some lovely big rocks in there. Beautiful. Now Tony seems to think that when we come to put the yucca into the ground here, that we're not really going to have a lot of space for anything else. And I think maybe he could be right. Now the nandina I just placed there so that could be moved. And also the rhododendron bush at the back, that could be moved also. But I think we're not really going to have enough space to put Tony's agave in here as well. So when we come to do the job, I think we'll just concentrate on putting in the yucca, which is the main plant that I wanted to get into the ground. So with that in mind, when we went shopping the other day, we did come back with a new pot. And we hope that that'll be big enough to put Tony's agave in. And the other pot that we've got, which is that one there, I'm planning to put in, I think, the oleander, because that needs a slightly bigger pot than what it's got at the moment. Now the Belfast sink, the flowers in that are not doing well at all. I don't know why. That's the cyclamen in there. But it doesn't seem to be doing very good. The euonymus at the back, that's okay. But these flowers here, the flowers are looking quite dead. Maybe I just need to deadhead them. It could be because we've just had so much rainfall lately. It's looking a little bit of a soggy mess here. And I don't really look at this probably as often as I should. And that looks a little bit better now than it did before, after a little clear up. And hopefully new flowers will come. So I was out the back having a little bit of planting time, and the heavens now have decided to open. So I'm going to go in and have a cup of coffee, and then if it eases off, I'll come back out and show you what I've moved. And before I go, look what I found under there. I've been looking for that everywhere. That's my little gardening folk. So I'll have to pick that up and put it back in the greenhouse where it belongs. So it's 4:45 now in the evening, and I've had my cup of coffee, and it's taken until now to stop raining. So I'm going to take you around and just show you a few little changes that I've done. It's not an awful lot, but I have been digging. So the nandina has gone from this bed here, and I did take up the rhododendron and put it somewhere else, but I decided it looked better where it is. But that enabled me just to be able to replant it with some ericaceous compost. So that's going to really thank me for that anyway, as it did need doing. So what else has been going on? So let's take a look around the garden down the bottom, and I'll show you. So where the salvias were, they have now been moved, and in its place is the Sambucus Black Beauty. It's getting quite a struggle to find somewhere to put that, because I know that it is going to grow to be quite a large tree. And as you know, it's this area here that's going to be where the arbour is going. And I was going to plant the oleander. You can just see it there through the greenhouse. It's looking okay at the moment, but I do want to put it into that pot before the spring. But I've run out of compost. And I've planted a different grass on the corner here. And hopefully that one will grow to look like that one there. That one is a stunning grass in the garden. And these red robins behind me, they were so small when I bought them. And now they are way above my head. It doesn't take long for them to size up. So the bottom of the garden now has the viburnum, the laurel, and a few grasses. And the wolfenii is looking a lot healthier. Because going back a few months ago, that wasn't looking good at all. But there's plenty of new growth there at the bottom. And that's looking really fantastic. Just look at that. Wonderful. And just next to that, I've just planted a salvia. So I don't know if this salvia is going to stay here. This is the hot lips. But for the moment, it will. And behind there, that's where I've got planted the Arundodonnax, just to give a little bit of height this summer. I just can't believe how much better the wolfenii is looking. Plenty of flowers coming on that. So where I did have planted the Soberia sem, there's now a salvia there. And I may pop the black beauty in this area here. I haven't decided yet. And pop the salvia back over the other side. But plenty going on in the garden. So just underneath the tetrapanax, I've planted a new Carex grass. And the grasses seem to do quite well under here. And everything's looking wonderful and green. And just a few more weeks now to get through. And just look how cute those little fern-like buds look on the Soberia sem. I said at the beginning that they were starting to come through, and they're so tiny and so perfect. So it's still raining at the moment. But it's nice to be able to come out here and it's not cold. So definitely time now to go in out of this rain and definitely have another cup of coffee and warm up a bit. So until next time, I'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.